You shall abide by this non-derail agreement that throughout the session you shall not chuckle nor bang your head in disgust. My leftover intelligence got consumed for legal check review earlier session. So the questions will emanate only through artificial intelligence, hence the logic is. While the present session was being prepared, your country has made a big statement to the world about the non-military preemptive blitz inside Pakistani territory in self-defense. Rejoice you should, but if you can appreciate the huge amount of risk these two incisions you have inflicted on the psyche of Pakistan, the picture will be clear. A big diplomatic victory followed in Wing Commander Abhinandan's coming home within 60 hours of capture. This is where the question of war preparedness and the story of Rafale Bhajan assume highest criticality. What surgical strike 1 and 2 portend for the future of our country? That's the story whose time is in queue. Today is the time for Rafale story you haven't heard or read before. Laying bets is illegal, or else my life is on this statement. Sir, tick a number. Did British leave any trail behind? Have we mastered them? Loot a nation's wealth. Mr. Stall, unowned, country doesn't belong to me. Speak or write English. Royalty, exhibited by VVIPs. All of the above, or none of the above. That will be a stark reminder to reflect what have we done to our country with non-existent righteousness and a misplaced nationalism. This is a little long story, so please jot down the number. Let the cacophony on corruption remain. You do a quick fact check on what Modi has done only for defense preparedness so far. A first-timer to Lutyens Delhi, he holds direct meetings with service chiefs on a weekly basis in 2014. He understands what this DPP is and how repeat peace wets the ground but does little for procurement. Understands the precarious position of Air Force, announces Rafale deal within a year of assuming office. It's a procedure-bound executive that pushes the files for another year and a half to tie the loose ends of the deal. Who is dying for latest war missions? Armed forces or your nation? MiG-21s anyway are doing the job. From day one, he makes it clear that delivery is what interests him, not the procedure. If the procedure blocks or delays the result, amend the procedure he has set. We Jugadus, adjustment masters, don't like it one bit. For those who are interested, look at DPP 2016. See the enabling clauses, not perfect, but a change from DPP 13 nevertheless. His negotiations are for result. 3 Rafales were in Air India show. By April 22nd, 36 Rafales will fly in our skies. Major overhauling facility in Nagpur, a first Indian aircraft deal. And who said 36 number is the final figure? Some in media and most of the opposition kept singing Rafale Bhajan. Bhajan learned maybe after recent temple visits. Even God got fed up. He makes one leader sing Boforce Bhajan.
शहादत दे रहे हैं और डकैती डालने का काम बोफोर्स में हुआ है. रफेल माफ करना, मैं बोफोर्स बोला था.
Remember what Krishna told Arjuna in Kurukshetra war. Believe in yourself and do your karma, and success will follow you automatically. You kept singing jarring bhajans, he kept signing defense deals. On a serious note, look at few more examples. He has a $250 billion modernization plan ignored for last 30 years. In November 2018, he signed a $737 million deal with the US for buying 145 M777 artillery guns. S-400 missile system signed with Russia in spite of dissenting noise from USA. Delivery of 22 Apache and 15 Chinook copters before this year end, adding firepower. Discussion to buy 21 MiG-29s is progressing with option to buy more. Rupees 639 crore deal for 1.86 lakh bulletproof jacket signed in April 18 to be delivered within 3 years. This after a 9-year delay. Discussion to locally manufacture AK-103 assault rifles in a multi-billion-dollar deal. INS Kalvari submarine commissioned in December 17. BrahMos, fastest cruise missile test fired from Sukhoi in November 17. He has pushed all ministries, is constantly pushing for outcomes. Make no mistake about this. Opposition from all sides knows this, hence is searching for a scarecrow. He is not like UPA 2 blacklisting Augusta Westland after Christian Michel's honeymooning in Delhi was over. There is a bypass theory of DPP on Rafale, so first angiography to hit the nail on the posterior. Related to corruption allegation, 3 or 4 dissenting voices of officials was shown against the deal. So, does it negate the national requirement? Let's see 2 main points as given in newspaper. The cost of India's specific enhancements was too high. Great observation. To make such a comment, any official would be aware what is the correct cost. Did he pen it down in a file? We masters of English, if we are to put a small table indicating cost as ultra low, very low, reasonably low, low, correct, slightly high, high, reasonably high, very high, too high, inflated, exorbitant. This spinning a file. Investigative journalism won't ask such questions. It defeats the conclusion, you see. Some more spin. Next objection. Inflated benchmark price. Inflated by what percentage? Incidentally, when was the benchmark price fixed? What kind of knowledge India had to arrive at base price of a latest aircraft? Bullock cart I have. Come, I'll do benchmark price for your next purchase. Lamborghini Venue Roadster. How is that for benchmark price? Same goes for latest avionics, weapon systems and platforms. Let HAL give us the cost of Tejas once, reworked cost twice more. We will demolish the integrity of cost each time. And we sit down to do benchmark pricing of Rafale. Hello, Santa Bantaji. Won't you wonder what would have been filed remarks on deals where actual bribe money reached right corners? Some other time, we'll do an exclusive session on how benchmark pricing is done and how MOD negotiations are held. Nauseating anecdotes, disgusting experiences then. Spinning a yarn in a file is so easy. Let's say raising questions on pricing is justified. However, was there any comment on previous aborted deal, the resultant delay, the delicate position of war reserves or war potential? In just 2 years' time, what will be our aircraft strength versus Pakistan's? Why a 56-year-old, though upgraded midlife MiG-21 had to fly on 27th Feb? This is not even missing forest for a tree. This is missing forest for Balakot JEM training camp. How about a couple of weeks training in one such camp to clear all doubts? 72 houris, virgins anywhere waiting in heaven. Analyze this. Cabinet decided on disinvestment of 76%. 76% in chronically sick Air India in May 2018. And where are we today? Uri Pulwama tragedy struck, and did our response go Air India disinvestment way? This is not to compare someone is good or bad. This is for you to realize how our file pushing habit has become a millstone on our nation's neck. 1 step forward, 3 steps back. The mentality is simple. I have read about Hanuman. My tale is my concern. Nation safety is a baby of armed forces. Importantly, my pay and promotions are beyond any existing regulations. In Rafale case, 4 officials overruled 3 dissenting notes. Basis the expose. Are we to conclude that they too are corrupt and hence clear the file? Why is the story silent on them? Or is it that Sri Rahul ji has a conclusion on Chowkidar? You wrote the story. On 8th Feb, partial note sheet of MOD appeared in the news column. When the government showed the full note sheet the same day, it was justified that the earlier note was not cropped. It was sequential movement of file. Let me show you how that is an outright lie. First note, missing a top portion, right hand margin portion, the bottom portion. Cropping is done. It has a reason. Do you think there is a surgical specialist in MOD to stitch up these portions later? Story writer didn't anticipate government showing full note sheet. Simple. If for a moment you feel I'm spinning in a fake world, list the 4 allegations. Modi paid higher price than UPA. Parallel negotiations were held by PMO. Rupees 1,30,000, 58,000, 40,000, 36,000, or the latest 30,000 crore was put in Mr. Ambani's pocket by Modi. By इससे कम नहीं करूंगा. Defense Procurement Procedure 2013 was bypassed, bribery clause removed, thus loaded with corrupt motives. Happy? Tell you what, this Rafale story was scripted when few people's brains were out on the park for a walk. Let me show you why. First, Modi paid higher price. How can you question me on a price of a product that I am buying, which you have failed to buy? The terms and conditions of your negotiation become verifiable facts once you sign on a dotted line. For a baby you have not fathered, you shall not have the right to decide the gotra or a name, period. So should we waste our time on Mungeri Lal's Haseen Sapne? Take this further. Air Marshal SBB Sinha, who headed a price negotiating committee, has said there was no interference.
I say with great assurance and guarantee that there was no interference from Prime Minister's office in any way with the Indian negotiating team.
He further said there was no parallel negotiation on the pricing, the statement further reiterated by ex-Defence Secretary Mr. Mohan Kumar. For a male pregnancy story, no delivery is necessary. Still you have a bonus counter from retired Air Marshal and Defence Secretary. Third accusation is not a question from Congress, but a statement on the theft that was done by Modi. Modi ने अंबानी के पॉकेट में you fill the figures, बहुत पैसा डाल दिया. When you make a statement, at least be sure of how many zeros. The problem is, I don't know how to value a value. Take 30,000 crore for now. Such a huge sum. You have enough friends in government, CBI, ED, Income Tax Department, some bank account numbers, or if it's all cash transaction, some hawala lead. Kuch to please. There appears to be another problem with the statement. Why has Arcom filed for insolvency? Why is Mr. Ambani's group putting up other companies for strategic sale? With rupees 30,000 crore, any industrialist would have sorted out most of the financial issues. No industrialist starts a business to file for insolvency in the first place. And for you, is it so difficult to put the evidence on the table for a nation to see? Or are you flying kites? Come, let's take dip in Ganga, sir. Now the final allegation, nail on the head is pending, right? You said Chaukidar Chor hai, but it happened to be on a Govan beach. Lot of temple visits. You would have heard about sage Agastya who drank ocean to help Indra and Devas to locate demons hiding inside. Where is the problem now? Enough disgruntled officials with reduced opportunity for loot share top secret files. With this, the story of bypassing of DPP 2013 is crafted so that doubt is impregnated in voters' mind just before elections. Mind you, it doesn't show 30 or 36,000 crore. That is fine. With the help of the story and note sheets, press conferences, TV debates happen. In 4.5 years, you finally found the drums to make some noise. Smiles to the cameras, which otherwise was missing. All well executed. In the melee, you, the listener, don't miss the smartness of bureaucracy. First create copious amount of paperwork so that no one touches it. Then load it with enough English to confuse the hell out of you. If someone tries to open it, a trek to Manasarovar or embracing sannyas appears better option. Thus, the bypassing of DPP story stays. Let me go one step ahead of bypass. Do open heart surgery of this story. We will then see whether this illusion to corruption stays or this fantasy flight of innuendo crashes. Basis for red tapeism as a rule, you will find in almost all policies, procedures and rules a beautiful word, however appearing in right places. Next golden rule will provide room for committees, more the merrier. Marination done, DPP 13 in Tandoor. Have a glance at a portion of forward of DPP of UPA and a small part of a single chapter. Should you have apprehensions that portions of DPP are picked to theorize my narrative, be my guest. Log on to mod.gov.in and have a look. Now if you feel the preamble is longer than the theory, can't help it. Unless the ingredients marinate, your Tandoori Rafale Murg will be like poor F-16. Forward to DPP 13 begins with an atomic explosion in my empty head. It says, it's a complex decision-making process. It goes on to say, it has to balance out the competing requirements of expeditious procurement and conform to higher standards of transparency, probity, and public accountability. Wow, you say what English? Hope you remember the tick number. Now computer ji, आपका 7 सवाल screen पे. For whom is the procedure? Who has made it? What was the purpose? Why decision making was complex process? What is this Greek and Latin balancing between comparing requirements of expeditious procurement and highest standards of transparency, probity and public accountability? Was UPA buying arms for our friendly neighbors too? To whom all UPA wanted to show transparency? Does late Colonel Reginald Dyer's spirit live in memory clerk Kaaluram's body? Remember Jallianwala Bagh massacre and Colonel Dyer? Did UPA government have foot, hand and mouth disease? Is it the past experience that dictated the forward, that every time feet and hands demanded weapons, the mouth opened automatically? Or else, why on earth, at the time of making procedure itself, it anticipated arrival of bribe amount? And what is this balancing in reality? Is it between the urgency and the number of war machines to be bought, or the deal and the bribe amount? How will you, for heaven's sake, demonstrate your transparency and probity when the war machines arrive in India? And to whom will you show the transparency? To yourself? Importantly, while making the procedure, no one can be aware who will be the vendor for which product. Let us presume that all vendors are bribe givers. Why should that bother you? You are in whites always, perfectly clean. So why this integrity pact? Anti-bribery clause? And if your intention is to remain corrupt, whites be damned. Has the procedure stopped you? Any link to all these jalebis and protracted discussion with Dassault for Rafales during your time? You have balanced purchase with transparency, probity and public accountability as per DPP. Then, why should a Congress party member become counsel for Christian Michel? Or, when Rajiv Saxena, just an alleged broker, was forcefully airlifted from UAE, Sri Chidambaram ji slammed Modi government as per India TV Today report? Let's follow DPP 13. Let them become transparent. Let the transparency take over. If the result of full transparency is ugly insights, where is the problem? Let India take public accountability of this promised transparency and probity. But Sri Chidambaram ji wanted, as per the same TV interview, this government to investigate, file the case, try the case, for the courts to hear the case and pronounce judgment. Then what is this highest standards of transparency, accountability, etc.? Correlate this with that file comment, India specific enhancement cost too high. British, our coaching classes for English now open. And how will your transparent public accountability marry the vendetta politics bride? That will be abortion before union. British English reversed on its head. Hear what present Defence Minister had to say in Parliament about defence deals.
There is a difference between defence dealings and dealing in defence. We don't do defence dealings. We deal with defence with national security as a priority.
This should also explain why the private sector was deprived of defence sector till Modi came to power. User trial visits, shell companies, foreign money, offshore accounts suited everyone, you see. Shakuni's genes must be very strong. His genealogy is growing. In the second part, let's skim over a few attractive provisions of fast-track procedure and see whether it is curtains for this Rafale bhajan. See you on the other side of Ganga soon.
अपना किनारा